All right, as always, I have to let you know that this is being recorded for those who cannot be with us in person today. And this series will go on ROGU Agent under the One blog if you want to reference it back again later. But this is lesson 4 of our business growth and strategy series, where we're talking about really growing your business and using those habits to run your business like the CEO that you all should be, and less like an agent. So getting off that hamster wheel and running in circles, trying to run your business in the actual day-to-day, looking for that low-hanging fruit, and actually planting the seeds that become the tree that bear lots of fruit, both today and in the future. So today we're going to be talking about productivity habits, which I think should be one of the cornerstones of growing your business and acting like a business owner and less like a real estate agent. It's really hard sometimes for us to remain productive and put in the good habits and good systems that allow us to be productive, so we can see our business from above and stop seeing it at ground level. And that's what a lot of real estate agents do. They have the blinders on, right? We're always looking for the next deal. We're always working in the deals we have, and we spend very little time actually looking at our business in a constructive way, looking at the actual numbers, putting those systems in place so that we have more time to increase our customer service, and freeing up that time on some of these habits that we have, where it's kind of like the fire drill, right? We get into it, and we get to a good example of this is we get to the end of the year and it's now tax time, and we haven't done anything throughout the year, like track our income or our expenses very properly. We have no idea whether we've been profitable or if we're in the red and we're losing money. And then come tax time, every agent across the globe is looking for their receipts that are in their car, or maybe in the bottom of their purse, or whatever the case may be, to find our write-offs for the end of the year, right? So we talked about taxes, and we talked about making sure that we knew what our profit and loss was. We talked about knowing what our KPIs are, where we're spending money, how we're spending money, what the percentage of return is on our monies. And now we're going to talk about productivity habits, because all of this is for naught if we don't carve out the right time and set the right habits in advance to be able to do all of the things that you need to do to make your business run efficiently. So who is this for? It's for experienced agents ready to sharpen their skills, those who want to stop doing more and start doing better in their business, and agents aiming to grow substantially with clarity and not chaos. So and I tell people that want to get into real estate all the time, like, real estate is chaotic and stressful. Who would agree with that statement? Chaotic
Absolutely.
and stressful.
Yeah.
It's stressful. It's chaotic. And a lot of times it's chaotic because we haven't set the processes and the systems in place to make it less chaotic. We haven't done the work. We haven't built the road that we need to be able to have those systems run smoothly. And that all starts with managing your time. All right. So the number one shift is run it like a business. Run it like a business. You need to stop thinking like an agent and start thinking like the CEO of your business. You are all independent contractors. You all run your business very differently. But did you ever sit down and think, before getting into real estate, what does my business look like? What is my business plan? When am I going to be working my business? What is going to be the purpose of my business? What's the design of my business? And what systems am I going to put into place to make sure that I have a profitable business that grows year after year? Almost nobody does that, right? We get into real estate and we're like, yay, it's shiny and new. And I'm going to help people. I'm going to sell a house and it's going to be great. And I'm going to work for myself. And this is just going to be great. But really, do we lay the foundation that we need to? Did we lay the foundation? Most of us are going to say no. Most of us are going to say no, we didn't lay that foundation. We were just excited that we had a license because we worked really hard and now we're here. Now I'm going to start sell a house, you know? So first thing I need you to do is shift your mindset. Okay. Agents say things like, I need more leads. Agents say, I'm too busy to plan my business. And agents say, I work better solo. I'm an independent agent. I don't need anybody. I work better solo. The CEO says, how can I scale this? A CEO says, what can I delegate? And a CEO says, is my brand working for me? That's what a CEO says. You see how the agent says, I need, I want, I work, where the CEO, all of their statements end with a question mark. They end with a question mark. So you need to switch that mindset of saying, instead of saying, I need, to how can I? I need, I want, it's all about me, to saying, how can I? Because it's not about me anymore. I'm running a business that services other people. No, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. Okay. The minute you start to shift that mindset, the more you'll grow. This was a hard lesson I had to learn in my business when I went from an independent agent to a team lead. My first team failed miserably. Those who you have never heard this story before, I opened up a team. I hired a bunch of agents. I didn't hire a TC first. I hired a bunch of agents because I wanted, additional income. And it was always about me. I want more income. I want more listings. I want to service more buyers. It wasn't about, okay, I'm running a business, so how can I serve my agents? How can I serve my community? How can I scale this? How can I make their lives better? And that was a hard lesson I had to learn. And it took my entire team leaving me for me to figure that out. So learn from my experience. It's not about you. If you're going to run a business, it's about everybody else. And it's less about you and more about what you give back. Structure your days with intention. Okay, structure your days with intention. Your calendar is a mirror of your priorities. Random effort creates random results. How many of you live and die by your calendar? It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't. But I do. Everything I do is intentional. So if you look at my calendar, it lights up like a Christmas tree. And as I get to my day, so when I come into the office during the day, one of the very first things I do is I pull up my calendar, and every activity that I have is blocked off in my calendar from the time that I arrive till the time that I leave. It is blocked off, whether that is a call with an agent, whether that is a call with a vendor partner, whether that is checking up on any files that I have, whether that is running marketing and branding campaigns. Everything I do is very intentional in my calendar. And why? Why? Because the goals that I set need to align with the big picture of my business. I need to make sure that I am carving out specific activities at specific times to create specific results, right? Specific activities with a specific purpose will give you specific results. If I just came in the day and was like, I don't know what I'm doing today, Mom, I'm just going to let it fly, I would get zero done. I would have zero goals and get zero done. And I would be zero use to any of you on this call right now, because I'm not planning. I'm not prepping. I don't have a purpose. I don't have a goal in mind. And I'm not talking about, huge goals of like, what's going to happen 10 years from now? That's not one of these trainings. What's going to happen today is what you need to look at. What is happening today that is going to make a difference in your business for tomorrow? Just today. What can you do today with purpose that will create results for tomorrow? Measurable small victories each and every day. So start it with intention. What are you doing today? Time block for income producing activities. Time block it out. Your day shouldn't be random, because if it's random, then we fill it with non-money making activities, right? If I have a random day and I have this big gap in my day from 11 o'clock until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, well, then I'm going to go to TJ Maxx and I'm going to spend money instead of making money, right? Because I need a new pair of shoes, because I deserve a new pair of shoes. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend money instead of making money. Or I'm going to go out to lunch and I'm going to spend my money on lunch instead of packing my lunch and bringing it into the office and saving that money, because I have income producing activities to do for that day. So fill your day with time blocking activities. Be proactive, not reactive. Don't let your day run you. You need to run your day. And this is so important when it comes to clients too. So many agents are so eager for that next sale or that next deal that they let their clients run them. Okay. You have working hours. Time block out your hours. Let your clients know that your showing appointments and your listing appointments need to be scheduled in advance because you have other things that you need to do in your business. It is not acceptable for somebody to call you and say, I just drove past the house. Can you be here in 5 minutes? Not acceptable. It's okay to say no. You have time blocked your day and set your priorities. And it's okay to say, unfortunately, I have an appointment coming up at 1 o'clock, so I will not be able to do that. But I do have some time to show you that property at this time. You know, your time blocking makes it so that you have an appointment. Even if that appointment is working on your business, it's an appointment. It's an appointment with yourself and an appointment to work on your business. So don't let your day run you. Last but not least is eliminate distractions and delegate low value tasks. Eliminate your distractions. If that means that you can't work at home because you have kids at home, a dog at home, laundry to do at home, the vacuum to run at home, whatever that looks like, eliminate the distractions. So if home is a distraction, you need to come to the office. Delegate low value tasks. Okay. A low value task is a non-money making activity. It doesn't mean that it's not a business building activity, because everything that we do builds our business or destroys our business. Okay. But eliminate and delegate low value tasks, something that can be delegated to somebody else, such as maybe marketing. Maybe you're marketing, you have a vision, you have a plan, write it down, have an SOP for somebody else to do. Because you are running your business. It's more important for you to know your KPIs than it is for you to put a social media ad out of the house you just closed, right? Delegate it. Delegate it if you can. Leverage your KPIs and accountability. You can't scale what you can't measure. You can't scale what you can't measure. All right. I have sat down numerous times with agents over the years, and I've asked them, so how do you think this past year went? How does it compare to the year before? I don't know. Well, why don't you know? I haven't really looked at it. You're running a business. Oh, what do you mean you haven't looked at it? You can't scale what you don't measure. So you can't say, I'm going to improve my business or I'm going to reach this goal if you haven't already measured what has happened. You can't make changes if you haven't examined it. So know your numbers. How many calls turn into appointments? How many appointments turn into contracts? How many contracts turn into closings? You need to track it weekly, adjust monthly, and win quarterly. So set your KPI targets for your lead gen, your follow-up, your showings, and your contracts, and then review your results. That way you are able to make data-driven decisions. Okay? An example of this is if you're paying for leads. Let's say you're paying $2,500 a month for Zillow leads. Okay. You've done your business last year, but you want to increase your business this year, and you start paying $2,500 a month for Zillow leads, and you're not tracking your KPIs. You're not tracking your profit and loss. And then you pay for Zillow leads for the entire year, and you get in front of me and I say, how do you think you did? Were you more profitable this year than you were last year? And you say, I don't know. I seem busy. Well, then if we sit down and look at the numbers, we actually find that you did the same amount of business the previous year that you did this year. And now you're paying $2,500 a month for Zillow leads. You actually did worse, not better. You feel like you're doing better because you're running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, because now you've got twice the amount of calls. But even if you did more deals, you're paying for that $2,500 a month in leads. All you're doing is working for free for Zillow, right? It's important to know these numbers. You have to know, or else you're working twice as hard for the exact same money. All right. This is a pitfall that a lot of agents fall into. So you got to watch that. You have to know your numbers. Scaling a business requires clarity, consistency, and accountability. Okay. Scaling your business requires clarity, consistency, and accountability. And a lot of people say, well, if I'm working for myself, I don't have to answer to anybody. You do. You have to answer to yourself, which is worse. when you look yourself in the mirror, are you a good employee? You are your own employee. When you look at yourself, do you say, I am a great employee? I come to work every day with clarity. I do it consistently, and I have accountability for my job. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to look within yourself and say, if I was the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, would I hire me? And if the answer is no, then you got to make some big changes. If the answer is maybe, then you still got to make some changes. So think of it that way. Just because you own a business doesn't mean you're not accountable. You are accountable for yourself. And I tell agents all the time, I will want it for you just as much, but never more than you want it for yourself. So if you want to be the CEO of a business, if you want to have a powerhouse real estate business that outperforms every other agent in the market, then you need to act and walk and talk like a boss. And you do that with clarity, consistency, and accountability. So first thing you need to do is track it. Then you can own it. Then you can grow it. All right. So track it, own it, and grow it. And that's as simple as tracking your numbers, understanding your KPIs, understanding what your profit and loss is. Then you can own it and say, okay, this is what I did, and this is where I'm going. And then once you put those systems in place, it's able to grow. Accountability is a multiplier. Share goals with a coach, mentor, or team. Measure performance, not just effort. And like I said, that's where we get into a trap a lot of times, because we're running on that hamster wheel and we never stop to get off, to actually move in the right direction. Time is your currency. Time blocking is so important. Please time block religiously. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. All right. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. Your day should be blocked off so that when you come in the morning, you're coming in with purpose. You know exactly what you have to get done. And barring any type of emergency, that is how your day is going to go. Your time is your business. So you need to treat your schedule like a CEO, not a hobbyist. It's not enough to have an appointment here, an appointment there, an appointment here. Oh, I got an appointment at 10 and then I got nothing until 1 and then I have another one at 6. No, have a purpose, run a business, or your business will run you, and it'll run you ragged and right out of business, because burnout is a real thing. Burnout is a real thing, and it happens to the best of us. So treat your business like a business. So let's talk about some productivity habits every CEO uses when they're running their business. These are the big 4 that you should be doing every day. You need to find time to do these every day. Lead generation. So new conversations create new business. Whatever that looks like for you, and this is a broad term of lead generation, because lead generation is different to everybody. If that means following up with your Zillow leads, you do that. If that means getting on social media and doing any type of boosted post with a lead funnel, you do that. If that means sending postcards to a targeted area and doing some farming, you do that. Okay, and we're going to have a prospecting 101 class that is going to teach you how to do some prospecting, because we're all pretty good on like lead gen and paying Zillow or paying realtor.com for leads. But we're going to talk about some good old-fashioned prospecting, things that we did before you could just buy your leads off of Zillow. So that's coming up this month. Follow up. The money is in the follow up. Follow up with your past clients. Follow up with those leads that you haven't gotten in front of yet. Follow up with the people you just showed a house to. Follow up with the people who came to your open house this past weekend. Follow up. Admin work. Admin work is important. It is part of your business. You can't get paid without doing the administrative work. You don't know where you're going unless you've looked at where you've been. So do those tasks. Do them once a day, even if it's a half an hour. Time block out that time to do your administrative work, to run your business. And then learning and growing, sharpening your skills weekly. You guys are all here now, so you can check that off your list for this week. Congratulations. All right. Learning and growing. But I like to do it daily. So you could subscribe to a newsletter like Inman. They have lots of real estate things in there, what's going on in the market. If you're in investment real estate, you can sign up for Bigger Pockets. They always send you a newsletter daily, but try to learn one new thing a day and set the time to do that. Honor your time blocks like appointments. So there is no multitasking. No multitasking. Part of my time block is this training, and this is all I'm doing. I'm not over here on my phone multitasking, saying, hey guys, honor your appointments. Nope. I'm not jotting down what's happening next week in my book. I'm spending the time on my time block. My time block from 10 to 11 is this training, and that's all I'm doing. So no multitasking, no excuses, no skipping the hard stuff. My suggestion of what I do is, because things come in like fire during the day, right? We all have our time block. We're all trying to do our system, and then somebody approaches your desk, or somebody shoots you a text message, or an email comes in of something you need to do. And what I do is, those of you moms out there that have ever watched Blue's Clues with your kids or your grandkids, handy dandy notebook. I have my handy dandy notebook here. And when something hits my desk while I'm in my time blocking, I take 2 seconds, I write it down, and I put my pen away. Okay, now I'm gonna do that because I have a time block for my follow-up. That's part of my follow-up. So I'm gonna do it before I leave today, but it's going to be on my time blocking time. It's not going to derail me from what I'm doing that's important over here, which is running my business. I'll jot it down so I don't forget. And then when that time block comes up, that's when I'm going to do it. All right. Protect your morning energy. I think this is important. Protect your morning energy. Use your best hours for your highest value work. Most of us work the best in the morning. So do the important stuff in the morning. Time block for those things in the morning. And you know what the beauty of it is? Most buyers don't want to see houses before 11 a.m. Sometimes, but most buyers don't want to see houses before 11 a.m. Most sellers don't want you to come list their home before 11 a.m. Okay. So protect your morning energy and do your best work. Use that to do your most high valued work, and shout it out. What's most important in our business? What's the most important thing you should be doing in your business? Nobody? Running your business, right? Running your business. So do that in the morning, because that is what's most important, is running your business. Running your business consists of looking at your profit and loss. Look at where your money's going. Look at where you're wasting money. Looking at how to generate more prospects and leads that you can turn into business. Doing your administrative work and getting that out of the way so you can get what? You get paid, right? So use your mornings for that. Your mornings are a mental gold mine. Your willpower, your creativity, and your focus is absolutely at their peak. And if you're not a morning person, which I'm not, you can actually train yourself to get more hyped up in the morning, whatever that means to you. For some people, that means just downing a pot of coffee. And I used to be that way. And I don't do that anymore. I have about a cup and a half and then I'm done. But what I've learned is I get moving in the morning. And I don't work out in the morning, but I go outside and I power walk over the chicken coop, and I get in with the dogs in the morning, and that gets my blood pumping, right? Then I sit down with my coffee and I'll read something about real estate in the morning before I start my day. And that may be, the Inman newsletter, or it might be something from NAR, or I will read at least one thing in the morning that has to do with real estate because it's putting me in the right mindset. I get ready for the day and I jump in my car and I play a high motivation playlist on my iTunes. And I turn it up as high as my ears can hold it. I roll down the windows a little bit and I listen to that the whole way to work, which is 35 minutes. And it just pumps me up and gets me ready for the day. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm absolutely ready. You know, if you have any type of spiritual belief, the mornings are a good time for you to take that time to do it, whatever that means to you. It really helps with self-reflection and also setting your goals for the day. So that is something that you can try. So do what works for you, but get yourself pumped up and excited in the morning so that when you walk in at whatever time, if that's 8:30, 9 o'clock, you are mentally set and ready to rock and roll. Prioritize income producing activities, your IPAs. What are our income producing activities? Those are lead generation, follow-ups, appointment setting, and strategic planning. All right. Those are the things that are going to produce more income for your business. And that's the goal, right? Is to scale. So avoid money time traps. Don't check your email or scroll your social media first. Do that later. And don't start with administrative tasks that drain focus. All right. So start with something like your lead generation. Start with something with your follow-ups. Maybe you make checking your email or doing your paperwork activity number 2 in your time block 2. Maybe you do that at 10 o'clock where your mind is still fresh, but it doesn't slow down that energy that you have because you need to pour that energy into the day. Remember, your energy is infectious, even if you know it or not. So you want to be pumped up for the day. You want to be settled for the morning where you have all of that stuff off your plate. You've done all the things that you need to do so that when you go to meet your clients, you're feeling good, right? You're feeling good. You're feeling ready. They can feel that from you. So managing your priorities is key. Because they're going to be able to feel like if you go to that appointment at 2 o'clock and on your mind, you're thinking, oh my goodness, like I didn't get this over to the closing company and I still have to put a listing in the MLS and I didn't follow up from the open house this Saturday and I still got to call, David and Julie back about like going to see that house this weekend. And I didn't even look at my QuickBooks yet today. They're going to feel that. They're going to feel that anxiety. So do that in the morning. And do it with pizzazz and do it with the energy that you need. That way it's off your shoulders. There's no stress. It's off your shoulders. So when it comes to your afternoon appointments, you can give your clients 110% of yourself and they can feel it. Like you're having a great day. They can feel it. That is what's going to set you apart. Build a morning routine that wins. Prep the night before. I have a to-do list. The night before, I put that in my time blocking. I will fill in any of those appointments with things I need to do. I know what I'm doing the next day. You can ask me a week in advance, Christina, what are you doing on Wednesday? I'll tell you exactly what office I'm going to be in, who I'm meeting with, how long those appointments are going to be, and then what my fill-in work is going to be in between. All right. Also, I always take a lunch break. If you could see my calendar, it says lunch from 12 to 1. Always, 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 always. All right. I guard my time because I'm doing all of those high energy things in the morning. I'm getting all of those things done. By 12 o'clock, I'm getting drained, right? So I guard my time. So from 12 to 1, I have no appointments. I have no responsibilities. That's my time. That's my time to sit, reflect, go through any of the notes that I wrote down from the morning, fill those in for the afternoon, eat. Sometimes I watch Dr. Phil if I'm having a day. Dr. Phil is just good for my soul. So guard your time like a CEO would, okay? Your morning momentum will set the tone for your entire day, so invest in it where it pays the most. Learn the 2-hour rule. 2 hours of deep work daily equals exceptional growth. 2 hours of deep work daily. Okay. Deep work is focused, undistracted, high value effort work. So no multitasking, no notifications, no busy work, just results. Could you imagine if you did a power hour once a week, once a day, even once a week, where you took 2 hours out of your work week and said, this is going to be my power hour. And during this time, I'm going to do nothing but call every single lead that I have received over the last 6 months. Doesn't matter whether they answer or not. If they don't answer, I'm gonna leave a voicemail. Just check in voicemail. Hey, this is Christina. I haven't heard from you in a while. I just wanted to check in. I was just thinking about you. If you want to see some houses this weekend, I'd love to get together with you. And of course, if you have any questions, I am just a phone call away. You give me a holler. But think about what we could do in 2 hours of lead follow-up a week. 2 hours. So how do we do that? We turn the phone on silent. We lock the office door. We turn off our computer notifications, and we just do it. 2 hours, just really focusing on exponential growth. How many of those leads from the last 6 months would turn into an appointment? How many of those appointments could turn into a contract? So when we're talking about growing and scaling our business, it's amazing when you start plugging in your calendar those intentional appointments, how many of those will turn into exceptional profits, right? It's just a matter of and I hear it all the time, well, I just don't have the time, or I want to do that, but then I just forget. No, there's no excuse. A CEO runs a business. The owner of Starbucks knows exactly what their menu is going to be, what it costs, what each profit on each drink is, what their labor rates are, when they open, where they close, what the opening activities are, what the closing activities are. You guys should be no different. No different. Run your business. You have to know these things. You have to schedule these things. This is what I mean by being super intentional with your workday. All right, why 2 hours matters. It's enough to move the needle, I can't talk. It's enough to move the needle every day. Okay, you can move the needle of your business every day with 2 hours. It compounds into massive progress over time, and it builds discipline and momentum. It builds discipline. A lot of us don't have discipline. We are salesy brains. We go a mile a minute. A lot of us do not have really good habits of time blocking and being really analytical or being really detail oriented. A lot of salespeople, not all, but a lot of salespeople lack that trait. We need to really focus on that. So focus on your prospecting and your lead generation, your strategic planning. That's what's going to happen, what has happened, and what's going to happen. So here's where I've been, here's where I want to be. That's strategic planning. Creative thinking. Really focus on creative thinking during that time. Focus on your marketing. Okay, if I need more prospects, if I need more leads, how am I going to do that? Write it down, make a plan, and then put it into motion. And then focus on your high-level problem solvings, okay? We've all been there. I have a buyer that loves this house, that got their offer accepted, but the appraisal came in lower. They still want the house. How do we get through this? Or they love the house, but the inspection turned up really bad, and we sent the BRI, but the seller won't do anything. That's not an end-of-the-day conversation. That's a morning conversation that you do in your power hour. Because that's when you're fresh, that's when you're creative, that is when you're hyped up and you are ready to go to war. So high-level problem solving should happen during your 2-hour power hour daily. All right, so let's look at the productivity equation. Focus plus systems plus delegation equals results. 2 hours of deep work daily equals exceptional growth. So deep work equals focused, undistracted, high value effort. Again, no multitasking, no notifications on your phone, no busy work, just results. Turn the notifications off on your phone. If you wear an Apple Watch like I do, take it off, put it away, put it in your bag. All right. If you're working at home and you have distractions, close and lock the door. Tell the children that I am working for the next 2 hours. And unless the house is burning down, you don't bother mommy. 2 deep hours, okay? Turn the phone on silent. This is your power hour. Success isn't your tech stack. It's in your routines. So tools are just amplifiers. A lot of people think that the best CRM will fix their follow-up, the nicest, flashiest planner they can get at the office supply store will create discipline. It will not. And that more apps equal more deals. They do not. When you log into your one login, you can see that if you go to everything, you have like 35 apps in there. And the first thing I tell everybody is you're not going to use all of them. I don't want you to use all of them. I want you to use a couple that help you with your business, right? So what you need to do is, instead of looking for the next tool, instead of looking for the next coach, instead of looking for the next mentor, instead of looking for the next program, you need to figure out what works for you, because there is no one size fits all productivity equation. There isn't. We're all different. And that's the beauty of it. So you really need to look inside yourself and say, okay, what works for me? Is that a notebook? Then you use a notebook. If that's, your calendar, then you use your calendar. If that is a fancy app or a fancy spreadsheet, then you use that. That's what you need to use. Okay. But tools should be amplifiers for your business. I'm a huge believer in systems, and I talk about systems all the time, but systems doesn't necessarily mean it's the next gadget you pay for. Your system is whatever works for you, that gets you to follow your routines, that gets you to build your business, that gets you to do the things that you need to do to be productive and profitable, right? So when we get off this call, don't go sign up for an app. Please don't sign up for an app. Use what you have in your resources and then start building upon it. It's all about good habits. And keep in mind, with any of this, with any of these productivity things we're talking about, it takes 21 days to form a habit. Okay? It takes 21 days to form a habit. So you may falter in your first 21 days, but that's okay, because you just get back on the horse and you do it again. But it takes 21 consistent days to form a habit. But it only takes 7 days to break it. 21 days to form a habit, 7 days to break it. Think about this in like weight loss and all the gimmicks and stuff we hear about out there, okay? If you're going to go to the gym every day without fail, you have to do it for 21 days before it becomes a habit. But if you go on vacation and go to a cruise and you're like, oh, I'm just going to have a week cheat. When you get back, you're not going to the gym without being pushed. You're not, because you broke it. You broke the habit. 21 days to set a habit, 7 days to break it. Don't chase shiny objects. Master the basics, then automate them. Okay, so habits that can move the needle. We've been talking about this. Daily lead generation, timely follow-up, time blocking, goal setting, and weekly reviews. Okay, so that is how a business owner runs their business. Lead gen, follow-up, time blocking, goal tracking, weekly reviews. You can't make changes if you don't know what has occurred. You're not going to have new business unless you're generating that business. So these are your basics. Your habits build your business. Your tools just help you scale it. So again, please don't go out and spend all the money on all the apps and all the things. It's all about building your habits first. If you get your productivity habits underneath you and really focus on your foundations of your business, the rest will come. You will figure out what you need. Okay. Your tools can help you scale it. And I'm not saying tools are bad, but tools are subjective. It's whatever works for you. All right. Before we get into this last section, does anybody have any questions? Because I need a drink of water because I'm talking too much. Nope. Okay. Isn't that full? It's full. Thanks. Kathy takes care of me. All right. Can it be automated, delegated, or deleted? So let's talk about the other end of productivity, and that's doing too much. Okay. So some of us don't do enough because maybe we don't know what to do, or maybe our brain is like alphabet soup. There's all kinds of stuff in there and we don't know what to do first, right? So let's talk about the other end of it. Clear the clutter and protect your time. Your job is to grow your business, not get buried in it. So start working smarter and not just harder. What can be automated so that you don't have to do it? You set it up and then it's automated in the background, so it frees up time so you can be doing money-making activities. Use your CRMs for some of your follow-ups. Now, your CRM in no way, shape, or form replaces you as a human. But you can use your CRM to assist in following up with your clients. So we talk about in the 7 touches about calling, texting, emailing, sending MLS, hot sheets, all the things, sending, handwritten cards to the house. It's all part of your follow-up, and all of those things are important. But When we call, we have to call. When we text, we have to text. When we email, do we have to email? Your CRM can do that. Your CRM can even text too if you really wanted to. But we can set it up ahead of time in our CRM so they're emailing. What about the MLS hot sheets? We can send them automatically, right? So instead of calling, texting, emailing, MLS hot sheets, handwritten notes, which takes a lot of time, it's 5 steps. If we're taking out emails and we're taking out the MLS hot sheet, look what we just did. We turned 5 steps into 3, right? Okay. Set reminders, email templates, and workflows in your CRM to be more productive, and let your systems handle the repetitive stuff. And what I mean about repetitive is when we're talking about follow-ups, we're just not doing those things 5 times. We're multiplying that over the period of a year or 2 years sometimes for these leads, right? So I get it. We only took out 2 steps, maybe 3 steps if you have your CRM texting. But if we're doing that in a month's time over a year, what number does that turn out to? You know? So it's about that multiplication and getting your time back so that you can spend it on building your business. What else can be delegated? Admin tasks can be delegated. As long as you're not talking to a client, you can delegate those. Marketing and design. For those of you who are not on the Brand Boost program, this is a great way for you to delegate some of that responsibility, right? Sign up for the Brand Boost program. Transaction coordinator. Transactions coordinator is great to delegate to. If it's not paying you $100 an hour to show up, pass it on. If you're not getting paid $100 an hour to do the task, and if you're not going to pay somebody else $100 an hour, if you're going to pay them whatever you're going to pay them, $20 an hour or whatever to do it, pass it. Pass it. Each one of you are board certified. You are worth $100 an hour. And if it's not paying you $100 an hour, then you need to hire somebody else to do it. Okay? So start making a list and thinking about those tasks. Delete any activities that do not make you money. So low value tasks, busy work disguised as productivity, and anything that does not serve your goals. If it doesn't make you money, get rid of it. So what are you doing in your business that doesn't make you money? We all do it. We all do it. And sometimes that question is really hard to answer. Okay. So don't be afraid if you don't know that off the top of your head, because sometimes it's really hard to answer. What I suggest doing is for a day or 2, even a week, if you get so inclined to do so, is keep a notebook beside you. And every time you do an activity, I want you to write down what that activity is. It doesn't matter what it is. Answered phone for client. Did my follow-up. Checked my emails. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to write it down. It doesn't matter how small it is. If you jump on Facebook during your time block, I want you to write it down. If you're commenting on Facebook, I want you to write it down. If you're friend requesting on Facebook, I want you to write it down. I mean, these are the minute things that I want you to do. And then I want you to go back through at the end of the week, and I want you to start highlighting anything that you did that did not result in getting a lead, getting an appointment, writing an offer, or getting a new listing. Okay, anything that was not tied to that activity. And then you can start deleting those things out. And you're like, oh, I'm doing this, but I'm not getting anywhere with it. So we're going to cross this out. Or I did this. This was a distraction item. So I shouldn't do that anymore, because we all have those. You know, so start writing that down and start deleting anything that is not making you money. Don't wait till you're overwhelmed to get help, because waiting too long costs you money. Okay, don't wait till you're overwhelmed. If you're building your business and you know where you've been and you know where you're going and you know where you want to be, then you should be able to see the finish line ahead of you. Do you see where we're going with this? Jamie's laughing. You need to be able to see the finish line. The problem is if we're not running our business properly, we're going to smack the finish line with our forehead like a brick wall because we didn't see it coming. right? We didn't see it coming because we weren't planning for it. It just happened. And that's a great problem to have. Don't get me wrong. When your business blows up because you're doing the right things and your business becomes really overwhelming because you're really good at doing the right things, that's great. But the problem is you miss the step about being the CEO of your business. You're a great agent. You're doing amazing things. You're doing all of the right things, but you're not running your business. And that creates burnout. That creates missed opportunities. And that creates overwhelming poor client experience, because then your clients are the ones who are suffering. Not only are you suffering because you're burnt out, you're stressed out, you don't know what to do, you don't know what comes next. You're missing all of these opportunities because you're not delegating, you're not deleting things that you need to. You're not taking time for yourself. So your mind's a wreck, your body's a wreck, your relationships are a wreck. That all funnels down to that client experience. So go back to that Monday motivation, that morning motivation that we were talking about. You have to run your business in the morning because it all trickles down. It's going to trickle down to you. It's going to trickle down to your family. It's going to trickle down to your coworkers. And eventually it's going to hit your clients. Okay. So don't wait till you're overwhelmed. You need to start putting the measures in place, even if that means, okay, I'm not ready for a transaction coordinator right now. I'm not ready to have a buyer's agent right now. I'm not ready to hire an accountant right now, whatever that looks like to you, because we're all in different spots in our careers. But I know that the business I did last year or the business I did this year was just enough, but I still want to grow. So if I'm going to do that next year, I'm going to put all of these measures in place for the first and second quarter. And it is my goal by the third quarter, if these KPIs are hit and I'm time blocking and I'm doing the things that I need to do, that I want to delegate for Q3. But I know what my numbers are and I know what my time is, because I'm tracking my productivity. I know where my time is going to run out. So I'm going to check it every month and see how close I'm getting to that goal. And I know that right before I get to that goal, I need to make the hire. So they're hired, they're on board, and they're trained by the time my goal is set in place. Okay? Think like a CEO. Hire for where you're going, not where you are. Assistants, TCs, and VAs can help you stay in your zone, and the right hire can double your capacity. All right. So it's not all about building a team or having a full-time TCs. You can hire an assistant. You can hire a virtual assistant. A lot of people start there and they can be really invaluable. They really can for a low cost, and you can use them when you need them. But the right hire can double your capacity to earn. Ask yourself, what tasks are holding you back? And what would I do with 10 extra hours a week? What would we do with 10 extra hours a week? If you could hire somebody for 10 hours a week to do non-money making activities, what could you time block in to your day with another 10 extra hours? That would be huge. That would be huge. You could list another house. You could do lead generation. You could work on your marketing. You could work on your follow-up, improving your customer experience. And if people have really great experiences with you because you have spent the time on them, what are they most likely to do once the transaction ends? Holler it out, people. What are they going to do? What is the best
refer
compliment?
you
More business. But if you've provided just mediocre customer service because you are too busy doing all the other things, chance of them referring you anybody is slim to none. All right. So that's how you grow your business. All right. My final thoughts. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to take care of yourself first. And delegating and deleting responsibilities is the first step in doing that. All right. Who's got questions or comments or anything to share? Anybody?
I feel like you're directly talking to me, and stop it.
I'm glad you felt that way. It means I did a good job at the training if it feels like I'm talking directly to you. Yes. Jamie needs to delegate. Jamie takes on the world on her shoulders. But that's because she wants to make sure that everybody has it 100% perfect. But think of it this way. If you can delegate to somebody who can do it at a 90% rate of what you do it, at a 90% rate of what you do it on your best day, it is worth it. Because when you're overwhelmed, you're not giving 100%, you're giving 10%. So if you can teach somebody to do it at a rate of 90%, they're already getting 80% more than what you can give them because your cup is empty. Okay, so think of it that way. It's not about dropping the ball. It's not about delegating your clients. It's not about, removing yourself from responsibility. It's bringing in support so that your clients feel even more loved, even more cared for, even more trustful of you. Because not only does one person have their back, but now two people do. Okay, so think of it that way. It's really, really hard to give up parts of our business. But if you are going to grow, it's really important that you do. Anybody else have anything to share?
Yeah, one other thing, like this all kind of reminds me of I follow Ryan Serhant, and he has this like video series on his 1,000-minute day, and it is pretty good. So if you go out to YouTube and search Ryan Serhant 1,000-minute day, it's actually pretty good. He doesn't quite tell you exactly how to manage your day, but as the CEO of Serhant, and he was an agent just like us, but like in New York City, of course. But it's pretty good, and I actually watched some of his other videos too, for some inspiration, ideas, things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks. That's awesome.
Because he even like shares like how he operates as a CEO versus how he did as an agent. So it's pretty good. Check it out.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and you will see that the highest producing agents in the markets, the big teams, and I always think of like cities like, downtown Pittsburgh or whatever, New York, they run it like a business. They run it like a business. They're just not running out there willy-nilly, running around and by the seat of their pants. They run it like a business. So if you can start doing that early on, this is only going to grow with you as your business grows. Do as I say, not as I did, because like I said, when I was a young agent, I did not run my business. I let it run me, and it came back to bite me, and I had to be knocked off my horse and start all over again before I learned. So put these measures in place if you really want to grow your business. I promise you will thank yourself later. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you guys today. Of course, I'm going to stay on the line in case anybody has any questions or wants to talk about anything. Everybody has left. But thank you again for joining me. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Christina.